Hello there, it's David Connolly here with a message for members of Speed Coding Academy. I apologise for being a bit quiet this last few weeks. I've had a terrible flu or whatever of some sort. You're going to see me going quite a few times in this video. It's been one of these things that hit my breathing a little bit and I had an awful cough, but the real enemy is that every time I kept thinking I was recovering, I would suddenly go out jogging or start programming for 10 hours a day like an idiot, and it just set me right back. So this went on for a few weeks and I am to blame. But thank you for standing by me. Everything seems to be quite good now, I hope, and I'm hoping that I can move forward. Was it Corona? I don't know, but I hope it was, because I'd rather be somebody who caught it than some wallflower who never did, you know. But anyway, that's that, and it's good to be back. Thank you for standing by me. Now, like I say, that's my breathing thing. You're going to see me doing that a few times. Folks, I have to say, it has not been all good news. Unfortunately, we lost a very valued member. It was Jim Johnson, who some of you may know by the name of ByteBabble. Now, Speed Coding Academy is not a social club. There's not really that much of an opportunity to meet people and to even establish some kind of personality. Let's face it, we are coders, you know. And even at the best of times, socializing is not our forte. But nevertheless, Jim ByteBabble was a founding member. I think he may have been probably among the top 5 people who even joined. I'm pretty sure. Chicago Phil, if you're watching, I think you were the first person who joined. But Jim was right in there at the start. And more than that, he used to come to all of the live streams. I live stream about 10 hours a day normally on Twitch, and I just code. And if I'm live streaming, it means that I'm not arguing on Twitter, you know. So that's what I do. And I had assumed for a long time that nobody watched the coding. I assumed that people were just there for the music. But then one day I remember having a really bad day and everything was really not working. So I took a quick black coffee and I came back and I was working really flat out. And I did that for half an hour, and as soon as I took a breather, a little comment came in from Jim saying, "That was quite an intense half hour you put in." And he is the only person in the history of the live streams who used to actually comment on the coding. He followed along, and there is no question that this drove me on to build the framework and the various software bits and pieces that we've got, with plenty more in the future. He was unquestionably there and having an impact on me, and losing that, I mean, look, I am a pawn in the game of life and I don't want to turn this into me, but I'm just saying that the guy made an impact, and I was really saddened when I heard about losing him, you know. And I suppose some of you will be wondering what happened, and it's not my place to really say, but I can tell you that he had disappeared for a while, a few weeks, and I received an anonymous email. To this day I don't know who had sent it, and the anonymous email was very short and it just said Jim had died, you know. Basically it was a couple of sentences. And he died suddenly. So a couple of us, myself and Simon, we went on, the godfather of speed coding, we went on a little crusade to try and find Jim, you know. I sent an email, I think Simon maybe sent a Skype message or something. We had no joy, and eventually I discovered one of the websites that he'd worked on was for a church. Contacted the local pastor, and then it was confirmed, unfortunately. As far as I can tell, he was doing some sort of DIY, maybe on an old house or something, And unfortunately, the floor gave way. This is what I'm led to believe. And as the floor gave way, he fell through it. But with the reflexes of a ninja, he managed to capture himself. And no doubt with the strength of a Jedi, he managed to lift himself up, which was pretty impressive. But unfortunately, his arm sustained quite a serious injury. And at the time, he was under the weather with some sort of flu, which seems to be a common theme, unfortunately, these days. And because he was really under the weather at that time, then unfortunately, dreadfully unfortunately, his body did not have the resources to fight off the infection at that particular time. This is outrageous bad luck as far as I can tell. And we most definitely lost him ahead of his time. I was speaking to him on Skype maybe about, well, not so long ago actually. It must have been a week or two before it happened, and he was vibrant and laughing, and we were going over some software. I was showing him how to get it working on his system. Although having said that, he was practically showing me. He was a real intellectual heavyweight. Do you know he wrote software for NASA? How you like that? And he was using at the time, I believe it was C, C++, and Fortran, and all sorts of things that were way over my head. So he had some challenges with getting the software to work on Windows, and I remember meeting him on Skype, reluctantly actually, and he was totally cool. We had a laugh, we fixed everything, and to this day, if somebody has a technical support request or whatever, my first and favourite method of communication is just to meet on Skype. You can thank him for that. Anyway, what happened was desperately sad. I made the decision in a heartbeat that I was going to scour the earth and find his family. I never knew if he had family. I could not even point to within 1,000 miles of where he lived if I looked on a map. But it turns out that he has, so forgive me for using present tense, I just have to do that, you know. Turns out that he has a wife called Anna, and as luck would have it, she is also an incredibly intelligent person and very cool, and we exchanged a few emails, and I dare say I can almost feel a wee bit of Jim's energy. Turns out they met when they were studying physics. It was at the University of Washington, I believe. And in fact, I think she's even done some programming. So I got in touch. She is totally the coolest person you could ever hope to meet. And that's a good thing. Because Jim was a founding member. Jim is a founding member. And in case you don't know, what that basically means is that he got on board really, really early. And in doing so, it gave me the opportunity to kind of leave the marketplace and work on building some things like frameworks and software and speed coding and stuff like that. Were it not for the founding members, then I would not have been able to build all of that stuff. And part of being a founding member is that there's a little assortment of kind of promises. And it's along the lines of, well, if this stuff scores, you know, we're going to we can all have a little, why am I doing that? Anyway, if the thing scores, we all get a little shot of the action, a little piece of the pie, whatever. That's the way it is. And I like to think that being a founding member is a bit like having a lottery ticket, you know? Well, I want all of you to know, especially Anna, that I intend on making that lottery ticket win. And I'm absolutely committed to that more than ever. Can you imagine the year she must have had to lose Jim and then immediately go into this corona situation where the whole world appears to be falling apart. What a horrendous start to the year. Well, I don't have the power to change that. But let me tell you one thing. What we are doing is good. It's more than just a tutorial thing, training or something. Jim believed, like me, that web development should be open and free at the point of entry. So wherever you are in the world, you should always be able to come on board and participate in our great industry. Right now, there's a wide assortment of organisations who are all eager to become the code police. They want to set up governing bodies, and they want it so that you have to be certified, and maybe if they have their way, pay $1,000 a year to be part of the governing body. And they're trying to close off web development and, quite frankly, make it more complicated than it needs to be. Well, Jim thought there was a better way, and I agree. And on this day, I am more committed to that than ever. And I will have that moment someday when I meet Anna face to face and I congratulate her on our glorious success. We shall prosper. We shall change an industry, and forgive me if it sounds harsh, nothing has changed. Now, let's talk about speed coding. When I think about Speed Coding Academy, I think of it in two parts: the training, which is about 170 videos, and the projects. If I was to rate myself with the training, I would go all Donald Trump and give myself 10 out of 10. I love the training videos. I'm happy. It's the best of me. I love it. But the projects is a different story. The projects were rushed, overcomplicated, confusing, and just not what I wanted them to be. I've made the decision that we're going to restart the projects, and we're going to do it the way that I had visualized this actually 3 years ago. Last night I launched some brand new software which is now up on the site. It's at Nitro, and there's a nice dedication there for Jim if you want to read a bit more about what he was doing. There's even a paragraph from his wife there. And Nitro is the thing that's going to make you multiple times faster than the average developer out there. And I have a brand new module out called Warp Speed. Warp Speed. It's a very short module, but in that module I introduce you to some of the tools and the strategies that we're going to use to become incredibly fast. And the plan is that with that and with all of our other assets, we are then going to go on and do projects, but we're going to do it differently from before. This time, instead of starting with a multi-dimensional drag and drop system or some completely ridiculous overcomplicated thing, we're going to start with the most basic application of them all: a to-do list. And we're going to do it faster than anyone on earth, and it's going to be easy. Even, if we were in the same room, you'd be running for the hills, right? Anyway, even if you have not done all of the videos, or you've forgotten some of the training or whatever, it matters not. Start from Warp Speed, because this is going to be easy, and we're going to do a very simple to-do list. Then we're going to do a to-do list maybe with pictures, then maybe a to-do list with categories, and then we can move on and do a CMS, and gradually and progressively, together, we're going to build up this incredible library, a tool set. And with that tool set, You will be able to go into the industry with the fastest type of coding known to humanity. And that is no coding. So that's what we're going to be doing. So when you get a job, you're just going to be saying, right, I'll take this, that, snap it together, and that's how it's going to be. There's somebody who leaves comments from time to time. I haven't caught the name. And they leave comments in the news section saying, that'll be good, can't wait. Any app that any client could reasonably ask for. And I keep having this quote thrown at me. This is a thing that I said away at the start. I said, I'm going to show you how to build any app that any client could reasonably ask for. And there's somebody who keeps quoting this at me. Remember you said that? Almost like maybe I'm picking up the energy wrong, but it feels like a little gotcha. To that person and to everybody, turn the volume up. Any app that any client can reasonably ask for. And let's add to it 30 times faster than the average professional developer. I know a few have worked with them. We are going to have an electrifying month ahead of us. Now, I don't know when the economy is going to restart. I don't know if it will ever be the same. Hopefully it won't. But surely this lockdown will come to an end. I think it's going to be within the next month, plus or minus a week, but we'll see. My job between now and then is to make you who are on board with Speed Coding Academy ready. I want to make you the fastest developers on earth, bar none. And if anybody on the planet would like to challenge me on that, come forward. Come forward. I'll give you the worst student of Speed Coding Academy against anyone. Our mission is absolutely any app that any client can reasonably ask for, 30 times faster than the average developer. But more than that, so long as we are here, together we will keep the doors of this industry open. Because so long as I'm here, there will always be a framework, an ecosystem, a mechanism that people can participate in freely. I hope they buy Speed Coding Academy. I hope the prices are outrageous. But at the point of entry, web development should be free for everyone. I really, really believe that. And I'm more motivated than ever. So if you have fallen off the Speed Coding Academy fun bus, if you've drifted away, if you're miserable or anything, now is the time to get back on. And who cares about the training? You treat it as a reference. I want you to start from warp speed. That's the name of the module, because the takeoff is here. Hallelujah. We're going to do this. We're going to do it for Jim and his family. The day of redemption shall come, and I look forward to shaking each and every one of you by the hand and congratulating you on your masterpiece lifestyle. Even my phone's excited as it makes some strange noises. Thank you. I'll see you over at the academy.